Anorexia nervosa is the most serious psychiatric disorder that we know. It has a high morbidity and an unacceptably high mortality rate. The media would often like us to believe that anorexia nervosa is a modern illness, a modern fashionable illness, but in fact anorexia nervosa was described in the medical literature over 100 years ago by William Gull, a British physician, and in the same year in 1874 by a French psychiatrist, Charles Lessègue. Anorexia nervosa is characterized by patients having a high standard of achievement, unrelenting desire to achieve at all cost, perfectionism, and obsessionality. One of the complicating factors in anorexia nervosa is that when patients actually lose weight, their obsessionality becomes worse. Patients are terrified by weight gain, and patients resort to dangerous means in order to lose weight. They abuse laxatives, they make themselves sick, and they exercise compulsively. Patients have constant ruminations about weight and shape. It plagues them almost 24 hours a day. It's not surprising, though, that these patients often become quite severely depressed. And antidepressants, which work well in patients who are not underweight, are not as effective in patients with anorexia nervosa. The news is not all bad, though. If we detect this illness early, introduce treatment early, the outcome seems to be good, and patients go on to make a satisfactory recovery. However, when this illness has persisted for a long time, treatment is much harder to achieve, and often one has to resort to improving quality of life rather than patients overcoming the illness completely. Hi, I'm Professor Stephen Touyz. I'm Professor of Clinical Psychology at the University of Sydney and the Executive Chair of the Centre for Eating and Dieting Disorders. I hope that you found the information in this particular Q&A video helpful. Eating disorders are indeed a complicated subject matter, and many family members, patients, carers and others are often perplexed about the subject and sometimes overwhelmed as there's so much information to take in and so many questions to ask. To make these things a little easier for you, I have made 10 short Q&A videos just like the one you've just watched, where some of the answers to the most common questions people ask about eating disorders are made. These are answers that I've developed from over 30 years of clinical and research experience in this field. To watch these free videos now, please visit stephentouyz.com/free. Thank you.